Welcome, esteemed gentlemen. Never mistake silence for weakness. Smart people don't plan revenge, they wait. There's a certain type of man who navigates the world on his own terms, someone who doesn't care for attention, social hierarchies, or the validation of others. These are the Sigma males, often misunderstood but never underestimated, who operate under their own code and move with quiet intensity. Unlike the stereotypical alpha, they're neither aggressive nor loud. Instead, they're deliberate and calculated, often opting to observe rather than act impulsively. Here's a little-known fact. Studies show that those who thrive in solitude are often more resilient and mentally strong. That's a Sigma male to a T. He's the one who quietly calculates, adapts, and evolves in ways others might not even notice, until it's too late. So if you're thinking of crossing him, you might want to think twice. After all, the most formidable moves are often the ones no one sees coming. And while he might just forgive, well, you'd have to be awfully lucky to test that theory. Number 1. Unyielding loyalty until betrayed. A Sigma male's loyalty isn't something he hands out freely. It's earned over time and comes with a depth that few people understand. When he's truly loyal, he's in it 100%. He'll have your back in ways that seem invisible, taking care of things behind the scenes, supporting you without needing credit, and letting his actions speak louder than his words. But cross him? That's when the whole story changes. Sigma loyalty is like a rare antique. It's incredibly valuable, but if it breaks, there's no replacing it. And once you shatter that trust, he won't waste time with dramatic speeches or arguments. He'll simply be done. The thing is, he's not someone who will just brush off betrayal or forgive and forget. It's not because he's vengeful. It's because to him, trust is sacred. When someone breaks it, they're telling him they don't value the connection. And unlike most people, he won't try to work things out just to keep the peace or hold on to someone who didn't respect him in the first place. His approach to loyalty is all or nothing. If you cross him, he doesn't become vengeful or dramatic. He just becomes absent. You may find yourself wondering where he went, checking for responses he'll never send, and quite honestly missing the grounded presence he brought into your life. There's a quiet finality to it. One day you're getting his loyalty and support, the next you're out of his circle completely. And if you think a quick apology will fix things, think again. He knows the difference between sincerity and convenience, and he won't come back just because it's easier for you. Cross a Sigma male, and you might just find yourself on the outside of a closed door, with no way back in. At number 2, long memory and sharp precision in retaliation. Sigma males have a way of keeping score that's both unsettling and impressive. Unlike people who explode in the heat of the moment, they stay calm, filing away every slight and disrespect. They don't act on impulse or lose control. Instead, they observe, analyze, and tuck those details into the back of their mind, ready for when or if the moment ever calls for a response. Cross him, and he'll remember, even if he doesn't show it right away. If a Sigma male decides to retaliate, it's never done out of mere spite. It's a calculated decision, thought out and carefully planned. He won't go for flashy revenge or childish tactics. He'll wait until the timing is just right. And when he acts, he does it in a way that's often undetectable until it's too late. You might never see it coming because by the time he makes a move, it'll feel like a natural consequence of your own actions, rather than a deliberate retaliation. It's almost like a game of chess, where he's 6 moves ahead. He knows when to wait, when to apply pressure, and when to strike if needed. And because his memory is sharp and his patience nearly endless, he can afford to wait for the perfect opportunity. There's a kind of humor in it too, a subtle irony, knowing he's holding all the cards while everyone else is blissfully unaware. He doesn't need to gloat or announce his plans. He simply executes with precision, like a master strategist who's been preparing all along. So, if you ever think you've managed to get one over on a Sigma, you might want to think again. Because if he decides it's worth his time to respond, you'll see that he's not just playing the game, he's mastered it. Number 3, has a built-in radar for fake friendships. A Sigma male has an almost uncanny sense for spotting fake friendships. He's not one to fall for charm or superficial gestures. He sees past the surface and can quickly pick up on insincerity. When he meets someone, he's not focused on small talk or trying to impress. Instead, he's reading between the lines, observing how people act rather than what they say. If someone is putting on a facade, playing both sides, or being overly friendly with hidden motives, a Sigma will notice long before they think he has. It's like a built-in radar that alerts him to fake intentions, whether it's subtle flattery or attempts to get close for personal gain. He's encountered enough people to recognize those who are genuine and those who are looking to exploit his loyalty or independence. And here's the kicker. He doesn't need to confront you or create drama. If he senses something off, he'll simply start pulling away, creating distance until it's clear the relationship is over. What's surprising is how calm and subtle he is about it. He won't feel the need to prove himself or give you a lecture on loyalty. He just quietly removes himself from the equation. One day he's there, and the next he's gone, leaving no explanation because he believes you'll understand eventually. It's a power move, but one grounded in self-respect rather than revenge. For a Sigma, fake friends aren't worth the energy. He'd rather have a small circle of people he genuinely trusts than keep anyone around who's only there for the convenience. So if you're thinking of deceiving or taking advantage of him, think twice. You might not even realize he's figured you out until he's already walked away, leaving you wondering why you didn't see it coming. At number 4, uncompromising integrity won't let you get away with hypocrisy. A Sigma, male's integrity is as solid as it gets, and it's not just for show. He holds himself to a code that's strict and unwavering, guided by values that he's chosen for himself. This high standard isn't something he takes lightly, and it's exactly why he has little patience for hypocrisy. He doesn't expect perfection, but he expects honesty and consistency. If someone around him acts in a way that conflicts with their own words or morals, he'll pick up on it immediately, and he won't brush it under the rug. What makes him different is that he doesn't just quietly judge hypocrisy. He'll call it out directly, or if he decides it's not worth his time, will simply remove that person from his life. Sigmas are known for their blunt honesty, and if he perceives you as morally inconsistent or deceitful, he'll either confront you with a level of directness that's hard to dodge or worse, just disappear. He won't argue or try to prove his point endlessly either. For him, exposing the truth and maintaining integrity is enough. It's a standard he holds himself to as well, so he can't stand people who say one thing and do another. A Sigma would rather have people around him who are flawed but real than those who project a fake image. It's why he's quick to cut ties with those who bend their values to fit in or manipulate others. The funny thing is, when a Sigma male walks away from a hypocrite, they're often left confused, wondering what they did wrong, without realizing he'd already seen through their game. To a Sigma, integrity is non-negotiable, and if you're not on that same level, he won't hesitate to distance himself, leaving you to question why he's moved on without looking back. Number 5, won't warn you twice. For a Sigma male, boundaries aren't suggestions. They're firm lines drawn with purpose. When he sets a boundary, he expects it to be understood and respected. He doesn't do the back and forth, and he's not one to keep reminding you of what he needs. A single warning from him is exactly that. 1. If you cross that line after he's made it clear where he stands, he won't offer reminders or make exceptions. Instead, he'll see it as a clear signal that you don't value his limits. And to him, that's all he needs to know. A Sigma male values his time and energy too much to waste it on people who disregard his boundaries. He's not interested in training someone to respect him. He sees respect as something that should come naturally or not at all. If you ignore his limits, he won't get upset or engage in a drawn-out debate about it. He'll simply cut off that connection or distance himself. To him, it's a practical decision. He'd rather invest his time in people who understand him without needing repeated explanations. There's a kind of ruthless efficiency in this approach. He doesn't believe in letting disrespect slide just this once, or making exceptions. He knows that people often reveal who they are in how they treat others' boundaries, and if someone can't respect his, he's quick to move on. He'd rather have a small circle of people who genuinely understand him than deal with those who need constant reminders to show basic respect. In the end, It's not about holding grudges or being unforgiving, it's about his self-respect. A Sigma doesn't see the point in sticking around for people who can't value what matters to him. And if you push his boundaries, he'll walk away without a second thought, leaving you to realize that he meant what he said the first time. Number 6, the power of silence, knows when to say nothing. A Sigma male understands the strength of silence in a way that most people never will. While others might rush to defend themselves, explain their feelings, or argue their case, he knows that sometimes the most impactful response is none at all. If you've crossed him, don't expect an emotional outburst or a dramatic confrontation. Instead, he'll simply withdraw, letting the silence speak for itself. It's not because he's indifferent. It's because he's mastered the art of communicating without words, and he knows silence can hold a weight that no speech could match. His silence isn't passive, it's intentional. When he chooses not to respond, it's because he's making a statement. It's his way of saying, I don't need to engage with this, and it can be disarming for those expecting a reaction. His quiet withdrawal often creates a sense of suspense, leaving you wondering what's going through his mind, what he's planning, or if he's simply cut ties for good. This silence can feel like a void, as though he's removed your place in his life without a second thought. What makes this so powerful is the psychological effect it has. When someone stops engaging entirely, it forces the other person to reflect, filling in the silence with their own doubts and insecurities. The absence of a response from a Sigma is sometimes more unsettling than a heated argument, as it communicates that you're no longer worth his time or energy. He won't waste words where silence can deliver his message more effectively. For him, silence isn't weakness, it's a boundary, a quiet, decisive way of letting you know that he's moved on. And while some may struggle to break free from toxic interactions, a Sigma has no problem going quiet, leaving the other person to wonder what just happened, and realizing too late that they've lost any claim to his attention. Number 7, knows how to weaponize solitude. The Sigma male's relationship with solitude is different from most people's. While others might dread being alone, he finds power in it. Solitude isn't just a break from the noise for him. It's an essential state where he recharges, reflects, and grows stronger. He doesn't need others' opinions, validation, or even companionship to feel secure or motivated. His strength comes from within, and the silence of solitude is where he hones that strength, turning it into a formidable force. This ability to thrive alone makes him especially hard to manipulate or guilt trip. He doesn't fear walking away, and if you cross him, he'll do exactly that, without hesitation. He knows he'll be just fine on his own, maybe even better off. For most people, cutting off a connection is a complicated, messy process. But a Sigma male has no problem disappearing from someone's life as if he never existed, leaving no trace and, often, no closure. He won't worry about what you think of him or waste time trying to explain himself. It's a clean break, leaving the other person to deal with the consequences of their actions. What's powerful about this is that his solitude is weaponized by its very nature. When he withdraws, he doesn't sit around feeling sorry for himself. He uses that time to evolve, grow, and sharpen his skills. He comes back smarter, stronger, and more resilient than before. And while the rest of the world might stumble through life in fear of being alone, the Sigma male uses solitude as a tool, so if you push him away, you might think you've won. But in truth, you've just given him the perfect conditions to level up without you holding him back. Number 8, capable of making cold, calculated decisions. A Sigma male has a unique ability to detach himself from emotional chaos when making decisions. Unlike those who might let anger, frustration, or even sadness cloud their judgment, he operates with a cool-headed, almost calculating mindset. If you cross him, he won't lash out or make an impulsive move to even the score. Instead, he steps back, assesses the situation, and considers every angle before acting. His response, if there is one, will be deliberate, precise, and completely thought out. This calm, strategic approach gives him a huge advantage. He's not swayed by the need to prove a point or to vent his emotions. Rather, he's focused on making the best choice for his own well-being and future, and he'll act in whatever way serves that purpose. If that means cutting ties, he'll do so cleanly and without drama. If it means waiting for the right moment to act, he'll do so with patience and precision. And if it means doing nothing at all, he's perfectly comfortable with that too. For a Sigma, decision-making is like a chess game, where every move is made with the end game in mind. Emotions are just background noise, and he's skilled at tuning them out when the stakes are high. This ability makes him hard to predict because he doesn't react in the ways others might expect. While some might be tempted to confront or retaliate, he's busy weighing whether those actions are worth his time or will lead to the results he wants. Ultimately, his logical approach keeps him in control even when things get messy. It's not that he lacks emotions, he just doesn't let them steer the ship. By making decisions based on logic rather than impulse, he ensures he's always acting in his own best interests. And if that means leaving people behind or making a difficult choice, he'll do it without hesitation, knowing that he's made the decision on his terms, not anyone else's. Number 9, thrives in high-pressure situations. Sigma males have an uncanny ability to thrive under pressure, something that sets them apart from others who might crumble when the heat is on. While many people avoid stressful situations or struggle to stay focused when things get tough, a Sigma male embraces the challenge, often finding that pressure fuels his best performance. The more obstacles you throw his way, the more determined he becomes to not only overcome them, but to excel. It's like he's wired to see difficulty as a test of his abilities, and he's always ready to pass it with flying colors. If you try to intimidate or challenge him, you're likely giving him the perfect environment to showcase his true potential. Where others might break down, he's laser-focused, cutting through chaos with a calm, almost unnerving precision. The added pressure doesn't crush him, it sharpens him. It's in these high-pressure situations that his clarity of thought and level-headedness come to the forefront, allowing him to make decisions that others would be too flustered to even consider. While most would be overwhelmed by conflict or adversity, the Sigma male sees them as opportunities to prove himself, to rise above the fray. This ability to stay composed and effective under pressure is a massive advantage. If you try to throw him off balance or create obstacles, you might just find yourself struggling to keep pace as he effortlessly navigates the tension, making moves that others would deem impossible under the same circumstances. It's not just about enduring the pressure for him, it's about leveraging it to his advantage, turning what should be a challenge into a chance to outshine everyone else. So if you think putting a Sigma male in a stressful situation will cause him to back down, you might be in for a rude awakening. Instead of folding, he'll be making moves you didn't see coming. Number 10, unaffected by manipulations or mind games. Trying to manipulate or play mind games with a Sigma male is a fruitless endeavor, like attempting to play chess against someone who's already mapped out 10 moves in advance. He doesn't get caught up in emotional ploys or subtle manipulations because he's naturally immune to them. Unlike most people who might react to guilt trips, emotional blackmail, or false flattery, a Sigma male sees right through the act. He's learned to read people with such accuracy that any attempt to undermine him or play on his emotions is immediately obvious. What's more unsettling is that he won't confront you directly or call out the manipulation. Instead, he might just sit back, allowing you to think you're getting somewhere while he silently watches you dig your own grave. His detachment from the game makes him almost impossible to read, and if he sees you trying to manipulate him, he won't feel the need to waste his time or energy exposing you. Instead, he'll let you continue, all while keeping his own moves carefully concealed. It's not about being passive. He's actually in control the entire time, observing how you play your hand, waiting for the right moment. If he needs to disengage, he will do so effortlessly, cutting you off completely with no explanation. He's not caught up in petty power struggles or trying to one-up anyone. His focus is always on his own path, and if someone tries to divert him with manipulation, he simply won't play along. In the end, the Sigma male's greatest weapon is his indifference. He's immune to manipulation, not because he's unaware of it, but because he chooses not to engage. So when you think you're outsmarting him or making him react, he's already long gone, without a word, and without you even realizing it until it's too late. In the end, crossing a Sigma male is like challenging a force of nature. He doesn't respond with impulsive reactions or seek validation. Instead, he stays calm, strategic, and in control of every situation. His loyalty, once earned, is unwavering, but it's not given lightly, and once it's broken, you'll be left with nothing but silence and the consequences of your actions. He's built on integrity and values authenticity above all else, so if you try to manipulate or play mind games with him, you'll quickly realize you're not even on the same playing field. While others may scramble to keep up with drama or conflict, the Sigma male thrives in the very pressure most people fear, using it as fuel to rise above. His ability to make cold, calculated decisions with logic over emotion gives him an edge, ensuring he always moves in his own best interest, unaffected by external chaos. And when it comes to boundaries, there's no second chance. Cross him once and you're out. His memory is sharp, and his capacity for silence, when needed, speaks volumes louder than any confrontation could. If you ever find yourself on the wrong side of a Sigma male, don't expect a grand finale. Instead, you'll be left wondering what happened while he quietly moves on, unaffected and undeterred. The Sigma male's greatest strength lies in his unshakable sense of self, his uncompromising standards, and his ability to navigate life with the utmost clarity, leaving behind those who fail to respect his boundaries or his worth. If you found yourself captivated by the unbreakable mindset of the Sigma male, then this is just the beginning. For more insights into the world of high-value, self-sufficient individuals and how to harness the power of confidence, strategy, and integrity in your own life, don't miss out on future content. Hit that subscribe button and join the journey. Because when you subscribe, you're not just staying in the loop. You're unlocking a whole new level of personal mastery. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and keep rising above.